Hello and welcome to the Punchline. I'm your comic strip critic, and today, I wish I had my tuxedo with me, but somebody borrowed it and forgot to give it back. Just tell me what you used it for and how you wore it, and I'll forgive you. Come on, seriously, why not? Wait, what? You're a woman? I'm sorry, it's never come up in conversation before. No, wait, we have an intern? Ah, of course, yes. Comic Sans MS. That figures. Good question. The reason that I wanted my tuxedo today for this episode is because today's comic seems very inspired by the world of 1960s era James Bond flicks. Welcome to the world of Rip Haywire. This is a strip that feels like it belongs right alongside Roger Moore era James Bond, or maybe Dick Tracy, or, at least to me, Archer. Starting its run on Go Comics and syndicated by United Feature Syndicate in 2009, this comic is brought to us by Dan Thompson. He has also worked for Funny Bone Interactive, who made PC games such as Stay Tuned and Rescue Heroes Meteor Madness, and Vivendi Universal, who have brought us such classics as Math Blaster and even Spyro the Dragon. Set in an indeterminate time period, Rip Haywire follows the adventures of, naturally, a man called Rip Haywire, who has a jaw so square and masculine that you could measure it with a T-square. He's had a number of love interests over the years, but most notable is his ex-girlfriend Cobra Carson, who Thompson described as every Bond girl rolled into one. Now, Rip Haywire is a very narrative-driven strip, so I figure there's no better way to review it than to take a look at one of its completed storylines. So let's roll the clock back to January of 2015. This is Rip Haywire. Anytime you want to show that comic strip. Oy vey. I gotta go apologize to my old text. We start at the end of the previous storyline. Rip's put another criminal behind bars and he's already got a new mission. His old flame Cobra is being sent to steal a list of names from an island-owning criminal. But she'll only do it if Rip comes along with her. I don't know why they can't send in some other agent besides her, but just roll with it. Rip's expecting Cobra to double-cross him at some point, but to her credit, she never actually does, at least during this storyline. And taking a look at both Rip's amazing jawline and choicing yellow attire, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that he somehow knows or is even related to Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy and Rip Haywire. Now that would be an amazing crossover. So on Pineapple Island, Cobra puts her cunning plan into action. Sneak in a slinky dress and pretend to be a partygoer. Doesn't Pineapple Island sound like something from a Mario game? I half expect it to be located just off the coastline from the Mushroom Kingdom. To Cobra's surprise, however, the island is run by none other than Tahiti Jones. Tahiti's a recurring character from Rip's Rogues Gallery. In one of his previous appearances, he, Cobra, and Rip were all chasing down a magical wish-granting tiki head. I assume it's an Easter Island variant of the Dragon Balls. Tahiti captures Cobra, and Rip leaps to the escape? He doesn't save her? Wow, that's a pretty cold move, man. Cobra takes her abandonment pretty well, all things considered. Cobra is tortured by listening to Britney Spears without autotune, but she still refuses to crack. Rip, meanwhile, has found the list of names he was sent to get, and some more danger is on the way. You know, Britney Spears without autotune can't really be all that bad. She's been in the industry for like 25 years. She's got to have improved at least some by now. Hey, play some for me. Let's hear how she sounds. I have heard things today that would make great Cthulhu himself weep tears of pain and agony. My soul will never be the same. It turns out that a paramour of Tahiti's, Kiwi, is looking to assassinate him because he's oppressing her village on the island. But there's a little problem. She thinks that she still loves him. Rip is right here. Get off the island more, kiddo. This is a more messed up Stockholm Syndrome scenario than Beauty and the Beast was. Oh what, come on, it's true and you know it. Rip and Kiwi are forced to crawl out the window, but the guards spot them and the chase is on, which actually leads to a great action panel. There's lots of fun and exciting energy on display there. And Cobra escapes shortly thereafter. How she manages to do it all in that tight little dress is a mystery to me, but it fits in with the whole 60s era tuxedo and martini vibe she gives off. I'm sure that she and the Black Widow would get along great. Oh boy, a lot happens in this strip. Tahiti Jones is told that Rip's kidnapped Kiwi, so he runs off to confront them and agrees to let them go, but then Kiwi clobbers him over the head and knocks him out, forcing Rip to take him along so that they can stay alive. A lot happens in this strip, and it's a bit much to keep up on if you miss a single day. Sure, if you're binging the strip's archives online at Go Comics, yeah, then it's no problem. But if you miss reading this in your physical newspaper, you're missing out on some key events happening here. It's probably good that this comic debuted after the internet was firmly established in the late 2000s. Cobra picks up the three in a getaway truck, and they speed away to safety. Mission accomplished. So that was Rip Haywire. What did I think of... Because the storyline's done, they got away. What? Oh. Would you look at that? So what happens next? Well, it turns out that this time around, Tahiti Jones isn't an evil leader, he's just an incompetent one. His second in command, Mr. Jenga, was the one who was wringing Kiwi's village dry, and now that he has the chance to seize the whole island for himself, he's out to kill his old boss. It's an interesting twist, and one of the few times I've seen the straight-up power vacuum take place in an adventure comic. Although, if I read Dick Tracy in its entirety, I'm sure I'd find about a dozen more. Jenga's men, Tahiti's old goons, are also upset at him because Tahiti hogged all the cheesy bread and blocked ABC Family on the island's TV channels. The cheesy bread and ABC Family thing was something that was actually mentioned in the strip a few days before that one, where I initially just wrote it off as a joke, but since it's being mentioned again here, I have to assume it's canon. It's a little silly, but Rip Haywire isn't a strip that's really all that serious. It's very goofy and very lighthearted, campy fun. The sense of realistic danger and suspense is so soft that you could spread it like butter. Although I have to admit, that must be some amazing cheesy bread if you're willing to kill your boss for it. They may take our lives, but they'll never take our cheesy bread! Sadly for our heroes, anti-heroes, and reformed villains, the van sails into a river, and the goons presume that everyone inside died. Not to worry though, Rip installed some kind of extra-strength airbags in his van. I don't know where you buy those things, but I assume that the cast of Fast and Furious buys them in bulk. Rip and Tahiti pull the women out of the flooding car, and Tahiti's old goons burn Kiwi's village to the ground, which gets him a spot on Rip's bucket list. I love the idea of Rip actually carrying his physical bucket list with him. Where'd he keep that thing this whole time? And since Cobra's list of names sank with the truck, that means no pardon for her. Go directly to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $200. And we still get to see some of the unresolved romantic tension between the two. There's a real sort of Batman-Catwoman dynamic to their relationship here, which is always in a state of ebb and flow. There's lots of fun and sometimes frustrating tension here. Rip wants to head off and give Mr. Jenga 2 vengeful butt kickings for goodness, even if it's against his superior's orders, but that's when his wife Breezy texts him. Their baby's first ultrasound is the next morning, and she wants him back home for it. He gives up the search to head back to domestic life, which is actually a very touching moment. I really like it. I can really feel an inner struggle going on in Rip's mind in the third panel, and for a thrill-seeking adrenaline junkie like Rip, giving up a fight for suburban life? That's a huge deal. So the fight with Mr. Jenga will have to wait for another day. So that was Rip Haywire. It was a ton of fun, I really enjoyed it. But it's not without one or two flaws. The artwork's great. I love the style and overall aesthetic. There's a lot of fun energy, movement, and color on display, and the plot moves at a fast pace. In fact, the pace is sometimes a little too fast from my preferences. If you miss a day, you really can miss a lot. And all the storylines blend from one to another so quickly that there's really no definitive start or end to the stories, which can make categorizing and separating them pretty tricky. There's no room for a breather between storylines, no filler of any kind to take a break. But that's really only a flaw you'll notice if you marathon months of the strip in a single sitting, like I do. Still though, there's a real sense of fun and an Indiana Jones styled adventure to Rip Haywire that's well worth reading, and it's very much a comic strip that's worth adding to your collection. I'm your comic strip critic, and next time, I think we'll keep the spirit of adventure going back in the times of King Arthur. Anytime you want to roll those credits, draw on camera. There you go.